All right. So for the stream, there was some discussion. I don't remember from who all. Rhino, for sure, that they might stop by later, but it's been I've been at this since 8 this morning.
Been a day.
And it's 5 now. So I don't know that attendance has been terrible, but hasn't been great either, which means I've probably been talking more than I had anticipated. And yeah, but we're gonna talk about music tech. Now, I made a Etherpad for this, but I don't know where that it got to. All right, so didn't put a lot on it, but here we are. So there's Mirlo, be your own site. I don't know. It's like be your own dot site. I don't remember what the actual URL is. Be your own dot site. Is that what it is? Be your own platform. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. Okay. Be your own platform dot site. So, Beyond Fair Camp.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, so that's the room in Matrix Beyond Fair Camp.
Oh. So also put Bandwagon on there. There's a.
I guess we might as well. This is pretty simple.
Oh, bandwagon.fm.
There's also, I guess, let me think of this. .fm.
I'm not sure how to link to this one. Yeah, there's no good way to link to this, I don't think. But, and I've talked to him on the Fediverse. His name's Doug Melton. So that guy, he built what in my experience, the best online radio app that I've seen. It's for Soma FM. So that's basically a radio station. But he built one, so he built a radio app that is just for them. And I
Okay.
asked him, and I was like, well, what I think the world really needs is a radio app that's as awesome as this, but that is like more open, so that basically you can listen to any radio station. So you could listen to Rhino's stream, or you could, whatever's out there. And I don't, yeah. He seems cool, but he didn't seem interested in, doing something like that. But yeah. So I would just say the Soma FM Android app or something. The Soma FM app.
Okay.
I would put that on there.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really big piece of this, but I don't know how to make it happen. I mean, to me, every time that I've ever tried to, listen to online radio, it's like a shitty app. Generally,
Mm.
it's nothing like you're getting today with like podcatchers. Like there's a ton of great podcatchers out there, but for listening to online radio, I don't. They're usually proprietary. They're tied into like, what is it, like the different companies and stuff. There's no like a true open.
Yeah.
So anyway, so from here, scroll down. There's no direct link. That's the annoying thing. Actually, sorry, where is it? Hang on, I was just there. If I go back, on the top, see where it says mobile?
Yeah.
And then there's the apps there. So you can click on the Android one,
Mm.
and you got a page there.
Yeah. Oh.
But and then you can see there in the middle there, it says thanks to Doug Melton. When
Yeah.
you click on that, you get to a website that's not really a real website or something. So I wouldn't link to that, and I of course don't know what the app is like on other devices, but
Interesting.
for Android, it's great.
Looks like he tried to have some sort of like redirect to
something.
his yeah.
So
Mhm. 2023. Interesting. Yelp. I wouldn't have expected a radio station to be on Yelp, but there they are. So are they like
who, Soma?
commercial free radio? So are they like a community radio or what?
I don't know.
I mean, it looks like they have like an actual like radio, like,
Terrestrial station.
Or yeah, I mean they've got like a really nice setup. I mean, maybe this is all just like internet radio. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother ball of wax. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about, though. Like there are these things out there, right? There are these online radio stations.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
but some of them
it says internet radio on a bunch of these things. So
yeah,
interesting.
So like out of Chicago, there's Chirp Radio, but so they have an online stream, but I know they're also terrestrial, or at least they were. I don't know if they.
Yeah. I don't listen to these types of radios things at all. So that's really know much about them.
Right. I think there's not a good ecosystem around it.
Well, I think part of the thing is that like I log all of my music to
Uh-huh.
well, there's a couple things. One, like I log all of my music to Libre.fm. So like unless the radio station has like, supports like tagging for this sort of stuff, then
Uh-huh.
I'm probably just not going to do it.
So how do you listen to music?
So, and this may be, I don't know, probably, I don't know. It's just been my habit with doing CCMA for years, but
Uh-huh.
I'll just do like a Bandcamp search. And then, well, and I actually, it's not all searching now. I have subscribed to enough Bandcamp things that I just get emails when an album drops, and then like I'll listen to those albums, or I get emails when somebody that I follow is on Bandcamp Daily. That's how I knew that Krotzen was on Bandcamp Daily. So occasionally,
you're doing it from your computer generally.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Bandcamp app on my phone, which I use sometimes. I do listen to a couple of podcasts when I cycle. Sometimes there's Podrunner. So, I mean, this is a project that, like, if I had like infinite time, I would recreate this with just CC music. But there's all these like BPM like programs. Where's the
okay.
Yeah, so you can see like 100 recovery mixes all the way up to 185, which is like the pace that you're supposed to run. Like if you're trying to win Boston, then you're supposed to run at 185 basically.
Wow.
That's the competitive running cadence for long distances. If you're running the 100-meter, your cadence is probably more than that. But anyway, and the cadence thing is like, some elite runners run in like the 170s and stuff. There's, it's one of those things that like some people take to like an extreme. But you're not going to be winning Boston at 100. So, that's that's too slow.
Yeah.
Not enough steps. I mean, maybe if you were like 20 feet tall, then you can win Boston at 100, but not very many 20 feet tall people. So, so this is one that I have that I listen to quite a bit. And then the Open Metal Cast. It's probably still okay. I just haven't bought new certificates since Craig passed. So, like, he hasn't actually put out a show didn't put out a show since April 22nd. So at some point, I think it was like November of 2023, something like that. I had asked him to come on. This is exactly what happened. I had pivoted. We were doing the listening parties, and then that kind of just died out. And so Donnie and I took it over, and it was like, this is like, it's me and Donnie, and we're just making it happen. And like, before it was kind of loosey goosey, and like, no, let's actually get like good stuff. Let's make it a show. Let's make it happen. And then Donnie was like, yeah, I just don't have time to do this. And so I made it an interview show for a bit. And I asked Craig to come on, and initially he was into it, but then he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling super good. And I was like, well, one thing that I've been thinking about for a while is we need something like Open Metal Cast. And I think maybe now would be a good time for me to like take it over if something that, would be if you'd like to do that. He's like, I might still have some stuff to do with it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so it never happened. But in any case, those are the two that I still have in my podcast. Actually, that's not true. I have the Blockcast on there, which I do listen to sometimes when I'm on the bike, but I don't find the Block Sonic catalog to have a high enough BPM usually for working out. And then I actually have a bunch. Like I have NetWaves, I have Lorenzo's Music, and I have BSOTs, the Bugcast, but I just don't listen to them very much. Problem is when if I'm working, I can't deal with people like talking. In most podcasts, there's like they talk in between tracks and stuff.
Right.
And I can't do that. I can't deal with that. And I can deal with it a little bit better on the bike, but if I'm like in the middle of an interval or something and they start talking, then that's kind of annoying as well. So, so yeah, the pod runner, like the guy who does that, he like does your spiel at the beginning. You can just skip the beginning, and then it's just like it's just like the track. It's just a playlist that he made, and Open Metal,
which is mostly like the Block Sonic thing too. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah. It used to be more intervieway, but these days, there's a lot more. Yeah, Potsy used to do interviews. Like I was on it. Potsy interviewed me. But yeah, so Donnie doesn't do interviews. So, he just does he talks a little bit, hey, these are the tracks, and sort of gets out of the way. So,
so I just try to understand. I think a lot of people are listening to Spotify.
Yeah.
I think when they're listening to Spotify, they are letting the algorithm tell them what the next thing to listen to is.
Yeah.
In general. And
sure.
I love the idea of radio, although there's an issue, I think, with radio where you kind of want it to be local, and there's not enough, I think, local stations, like online stations, for that to really work.
Yeah.
And then, like I'm saying, I don't think there's great apps for like.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my age. How old are you?
I'm 46.
Okay, so you're not that much older than me, but you might be enough older than me for this to matter. Like I was listening to the Yahoo Music, like their player when I was in college. Local radio's never when I was in high school, sure, we had local radio stations, but I never listened to we had one. It was actually pretty widely regarded.
That's
WXYC, but I never listened to our college radio.
I never listened to college radio either, but we had a couple good local stations, at least when I was high school and early college years.
Yeah. Were you in Chicago or?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, but there's 3 cities, maybe 4 cities in the entire country that have that.
Is that what it is?
There's LA, San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. No one else has that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Literally no one else has that. No.
It's strange. So, but for me, it was alternative was hitting.
Actually, I take that back. There's KEXP in Seattle, so they've got it.
Yeah.
But, we don't have anything here. Maybe 20 years ago they did, but
right. And I don't know now I don't listen to local radio anymore, but I know the main station that we used to it was Q101, and I know it's still around, but I don't feel like it defines anything. Maybe it does. I don't know, but so for me, it was alternative and grunge that was hitting at the exact same time as I was going into high school. So it was magic. Like, so, obviously I've met, beautiful memories of that, and then going to like fucking tons and tons of shows. Um, I don't know so. Am I trying to recreate a golden era that can't exist? I don't know. Um, but then, so when you use Bandcamp, how do you do that? Do you use? I mean,
Oh, I follow bands, and then it just like tells me when. Well, so I do two separate things. So the Bandcamp app, like it's just the new releases, but like this has changed over the years because Google has gotten to where it's completely terrible. But so now I use Yahoo. I don't think I have one. Oh, that's because I'm not in there. So I usually have some like some strings in here. Oops, I need to click out of that. It's hard to see when you have 1,000 things open. Some May stuff, some weird Etherpad thing, some Christmas album I'm probably never gonna listen to. Surely I have it. Yeah, okay, here we go. So I started doing this back when, so before we started the CCMA, I listened to the Bugcast, and I listened to, of course, Open Metalcast. One thing that I did is I built up a bunch of like Pandora stations based on Creative Commons bands. So like, like on quote unquote records, like all of these are like professional musicians, like these are people that are like, making some sort of money, or at least an attempt at making money with music. So like a lot of these bands have Pandora channels. So I would create Pandora channels, and then, that was like, some of the stuff would be CC, some of the stuff wasn't CC, but I could always thumbs down stuff that wasn't CC, So that was one way that I dealt with Pandora's algorithm. Jimmy Doyle and the Engineer is really good shit, by the way. I mean, a lot of this is really good shit, but
no, so I've downloaded all of it, and I have it in my. So I use Strawberry, which and then I use that as my collection, and then I go through that collection. I try to listen to it, and then I, pick it for my podcast. So, but yeah, that's all of that is. I love it.
Yeah, I used to have, and actually, I probably still have a hard drive with a bunch of this stuff. But like, we moved a bunch of time. Well, I don't know when I kind of stopped. I mean, probably it was when we moved to Minneapolis. I kind of stopped listening to the desktop machine. That's when we got. Well, no, we had the cat in Baltimore for a short period, and then we had the cat in Cincinnati. But we had a big place, and it was just one cat. So yeah, it was probably the transition to two cats. So when we moved to Minneapolis, our cat really just gave up on life. Like he was like he played. He was old, but he played, and he was like, he didn't seem like he was having any problems. And we had moved from Baltimore to Cincinnati, and he'd been fine. But we moved to Minneapolis, something just like shut off in his brain. So we were like, maybe he needs a buddy, like maybe that would help, like a younger cat. So we got a cat, and he did. He kind of like perked him back up to life and stuff. But like, I just, I think that was just sort of like not enough time anymore. Like with two cats, and Just, and like there's different stuff going on, like I've changed jobs a couple times since we moved. And well, I guess it was in 2017, so the year after we moved, that I started doing the CCMA. And the whole thing about the CCMA, actually that might have been it. It probably didn't have anything to do with the cats. That's just a coincidence.
Blame cats.
And so I started listening to stuff that was only from that year, because that was the only stuff that was eligible for the CCMA. So any sort of like back catalog just became like completely useless to me at that point. Right. So, and then it was like, all of the like algorithmic stuff like Pandora, I was like, well, it's really difficult to like tune that so that it's like only new releases.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's taken years, but I've built up like a lot of Bandcamp follows. So now I don't really have to search. I just like go into my inbox and I'm like, okay, I'll just open, which is, I don't find like a lot of new bands that way, but that's the thing about like subscribing to like a net label, like Jumpsuit Records or something. If I subscribe to a net label, and there's a bunch of them on Bandcamp, then I get all of the artists that are on that net label. So, so it's not completely like a static, these are the artists. So I'm leaning on the net labels to do the work for me, but that's not entirely true, because I do, don't just depend on that. I also do my own Bandcamp searches. So
in the 90s, I ended up working during high school and spending way too much fucking money on CDs. And so I have an insane amount of CDs over in the corner. And that was my world. And so anyway, I had a 10-disc changer in the back of my car. And
I had one of those.
Whatever, an hour every day. So, really got into all these albums and stuff. And I could tell you the first 3 seconds of anything. And, but then, I did my podcast and I was like, okay, so CC Music is what I need to play. And so kind of did that. And so then now my hard drive, I have 2 different folders. I have all the music that I've ripped from my CDs, but I never listen to that anymore at all. I just listen to the stuff that I've gotten through the CD, Creative Commons stuff. And so that's my whole world. And what I'm trying to, to me, what I want to see is a Bandcamp, right, that is decentralized. That's the whole bandwagon idea.
Yeah.
And then you get people to, and then that being connected to a streaming app, right? So just like Bandwagon has their app where you can play music, you have that on an app that's like a podcast catcher, right? Because it's decentralized, but then you're having it pulling from, let's say, and Bandwagon is not just one site. The idea behind Bandwagon is like WordPress. So there's going to be a WordPress.com, bandwagon.fm, but then everybody else can install their own Bandwagon. So you can install a Bandwagon for your, for your band or for your label or whatever. But then the idea being that the app would pull, you would be pulling from all those different things. And then hopefully you could be, notifying others that you liked this. And then that would be hopefully how people would find out new music. And it would all work in that beautiful way. So that's the tech. And then you also be able to possibly play radio too, right? Play streams and all that. And maybe it would tell you, maybe you could click on it and add it to see if it found it in your Fediverse of of Bandwagons, and add it to your artists.
Yeah. So
I think that's possible, and I don't know. I think that's the way out. Like,
so do they have a license search on here?
They're going to add it. I don't know if he'll add it right now, but he said he's going to add it. So
Yeah, I don't see like an obvious one.
Right.
The first one I clicked on was all rights reserved.
yeah.
So was that one. So
Doc Pop, I think, is on there. Dr. Pop, I think.
yeah,
Somebody.
maybe not under rock. Perhaps.
Yeah. So I don't see the license on that one.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe it's on. Let's actually play them.
It's weird that they had all rights on the other one, though, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. So. So, so I like the fair camp idea. This is like, it seems like the platform thing. It's like the next level or whatever. Like, do you just want a very basic place to host your music? Put up a fair camp, right? But if you want to go a little further, Bandwagon might be the thing to do. Your own platform thing might be the way to go. I don't know. And then, but Mirlo is, and there's another one like Mirlo. Those are or those are co-ops, right? But those are fully centralized, I think, is the idea.
Yeah, no.
I
haven't spent a lot of time with a lot of these because
yeah,
I don't know that there's enough like content there.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's interesting that Tom uploaded.
So you got the license on the next to the song to the right.
Oh yeah, it cuts it off weirdly, but it's there. Yeah, that's a bug.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't deal with my. What happens if I hit follow? So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I guess it'll.
So Bandwagon is fully Fediverse connected.
Yeah.
What that means for like a listening network, I'm not sure. But at least if you were to set up Bandwagon, you have an account that you can follow other people and they can follow you. But
yeah, I guess like it wasn't clear to me how that worked from here, but like I guess
yeah.
Like how do I see the Bandwagon
the account
post or accounts or whatever?
So if you go to if you look for Howdy at bandwagon.fm, I think is the account. That's the guy putting it together. Is that in there? Maybe it's something else.
Just slow there.
Oh, there you go. Ben Pate on the top there.
That guy? Okay.
So, yeah. So maybe if you look for bandwagon.fm, you'll find other accounts on there. I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So there's bandwagon.fm and then
right.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to. I mean, it seems like a lot of like texts, but there's like, it's like, where's the album? Is this an album?
Right. No.
Yeah. So. So yeah, I don't know.
It
Doesn't
needs
make a lot
work.
of,
It's in the beginning phases.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I guess, like, are you thinking that we should set one of these up, or what's
No, not yet.
okay?
Eventually, maybe. Um, he's supposed to have. I don't know which one. I think you're going to be able to buy music from it soon. And then I think at this point you can install one of your own, but I don't know where we're at on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like the code is here as far as Bandwagon is
Yep.
concerned. So,
Yeah, would we eventually have a Bandwagon server for CC music artists? Possibly, hopefully, but I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it just because,
Totally
I mean,
understandable.
because I didn't see where we fit in yet.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's good to know that these things come up, and I think,
Right.
you know, possibly having, well, you know, probably having some of these people on, I guess, the monthly show.
Yep.
Which maybe I'll just keep the Everything's Open name that I stuck with, that I
Yeah,
had with
that's good.
for the pilot shows.
So Lorenzo, did you Tom had the guy from Fair Camp on?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, but I saw that.
Simon Rep, I think his name.
Yeah, so.
So like in a dream world where things are all supposed to work together, right? So like Funk Whale is more the model for the listener, I think is the concept.
Yeah.
So you could see like a connection between Funk Whale and Bandwagon, or all the other things too, where somebody would have maybe their own account where they have, you know, they've uploaded music, or they have, maybe there's a Funk Whale, you know, an Funk Whale app there is, but haven't had good experience with it. But so you would upload, you know, your own CC music, stuff that you've listened to that maybe the artist isn't on Bandwagon, but maybe you could also subscribe to a Bandwagon artist and then listen to them or listen to your own files. Like that's what I think is weird right now, where we don't only have not have great radio apps, I would say, but we also just don't. Do you know of a good app where you like upload music that you want to listen to privately and then play that? I've not had a good experience with it. I think I've tried maybe 3 or 4 apps over the time period, but I've never been really happy.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can do that kind of stuff from like OwnCloud and
right,
that sort of stuff, but you know, they're not dedicated music apps, so I wouldn't expect the experience to be as good as a dedicated app.
So like I use Pocket Cast for podcasts, and you have an option there to if you have to pay account $2 a month or something or whatever it is, but you can upload MP3s on there.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to listen to like your own audiobook or something, or whatever, something. Let's say you've ripped a video, right, and you just have the MP3. You can throw it up. You can go on the web version of Pocket Casts, put that file up there, and then you can play it from, and it automatically download to your Android or whatever it is, and you could play it from there, right? So you could imagine a pretty nice experience like that for music, you know, a music player where you put up your own music in there. Maybe hopefully it's organized somewhat. It kind of understands how people like to listen to music versus listen to a podcast where it disappears afterwards. Music, you don't have that experience. But so there's things out there. It's just there isn't a critical mass. I don't think that, you know, where there's developers who say, oh, that's a market. I don't have to.
Yeah.
So anyway, feel like it's something we should be keeping our eye on, you know, all this stuff too. But.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, yeah, I mean, musicians are trying to figure out where to put their stuff. It's a good idea to have some ideas about these sorts of things.
Yeah, what's the Mirror? What's the other one? I can't remember. There's another one. Yeah, it's kind of like the two models. It seems like that kind of to kind of deal with the fear of what's going to happen to Bandcamp is like either the co-op or like the self-hosting thing. So you have like the Fair Camps and the Bandwagons, or you have like Mirlo and whatever the other one is. But anyway, how do we get artists paid if they want to be paid?
Yeah. What we're gonna get on this. Alternative to it's like sometimes has the craziest shit on it. Let's see what they've got. I guess technically that's true.
What is it?
I guess so. I just did Mirlo. Like I was like, does it even know what Mirlo is?
Oh, yeah.
SoundCloud. So
it's got those iTunes.
It's basically saying like, here are the big music sites.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. I never really think of Patreon as being a place to listen to music, but I guess if it's Patreon exclusives, then they must have a player there. Cloud.
Resonate. That's another one. That's a slightly different model, I think, though.
So it says it's open source, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so just log in.
Okay.
This is just what I might be able to find something on here. I mean, the forum was still there. I don't know. I mean, that other site made it sound like they were shutting down, but this doesn't necessarily make it seem like that.
No, I don't. I wasn't on the impression that Resonate was shutting down. No.
So. I haven't had a deployment in a while, but that might not mean anything. So yeah, the documentation hasn't been. Well, this was updated last month.
Oh, Subvert.
Oh, so that actually says here. So March, October, the ID server got so there's not a lot of work happening on here.
Subvert.fm. That's another kind of a Mirlo collective ownership. Still in a boot up phase, I think. My heart is with all of you people. What's actually going to work, I don't know, but
Yeah. I don't like this.
yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Musicians and labels free. I don't know. Beyond optimism. Could it though? That sounds like some optimism right there.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so, Lindsay Mills.
Right. Broskowski or what's the guy? Broskowski.
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 That's interesting. They've kind of like, I haven't thought this up here, but like this down here is like very reminiscent of like Bandcamp styling to me.
Oh, okay.
No, like, you know, if you go into their like docs and stuff, or maybe it's the way it used to be. I don't know. I'm just kind of, let's find like a, maybe down at the bottom. I don't know. I feel like there's some pages that kind of look like that on here somewhere. I mean, maybe a little. I mean, maybe this page does kind of a little bit that black. I've seen that. I feel like on here somewhere. But again, maybe this was, maybe that was a long time ago. I don't know. Am I logged in? I am logged in. Maybe it was on like a different page too. I don't know. Maybe I just made it up. That's what I thought when I saw it, though. So,
yeah.
All right. Any other things you want to discuss here?
I think we're good.
All right. So, I'll have to send out like an invite about elections. I think the CC Hall of Fame can wait. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just talk about these things Cinco de Mayo weekend. I'll probably do something about that tomorrow.
Okay.
It's maybe later today. I don't know. But all right. Well, I guess I'm gonna kill the stream here. Send out a post to.
We did 10 hours. I think that's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.